All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar co-hosted by Squirro and EasiShare. I'm Mark Tan, representing EasiShare by InspireTech, and I'll be your host this morning. Give us a couple of minutes. We're currently waiting for a few more attendees to join us today. In the meantime, I would just like to inform those present with us now that Mr. Moritz Müller, the General Manager of APAC, will be standing in for Mr. David Hannibal, Chief Product Officer. Unfortunately, David is actually under the weather. He sends his sincere apologies, and he will be able to join us next time. So I hope everyone's having a great week so far. All right. In the meantime, I would just like to share a few housekeeping items for all those present. Just please note that the webinar is being recorded. You can access the recording later on the Squirrel landing page or InspireTech's YouTube channel. And note that if you have any questions for us or for the presenters, please use the dedicated Q&A button right at the bottom of your screen, and we'll be addressing your questions after the presentations by Max and Moritz. All right, so we encourage you to ask the questions to make this session a little bit more interactive. And all right, let's see, and we can kick things off, I reckon. So let me start by introducing the speakers we have today. We have Mr. Max Chan, the Regional Sales Director of EasiShare. He has over 30 years of experience in the tech sector, including notable tenures at renowned companies such as Microsoft. Since 2013, he has been leading the EasiShare sales team. He strongly advocates for integrating the AI-powered enterprise search platform Squirrel into EasiShare, and is dedicated to help organizations like yourselves unlock the value of your data and files. Now, moving on, we have Mr. Moritz Müller, General Manager of Squirrel for APAC. He has been leading the product management and sales and dedicated to delivering successful digital transformation projects to corporate clients for quite a while now, for 3.5 years in APAC. So he has a technical background. He has a PhD in geophysics, and he works closely with his team and Squirrel's clients to provide innovative solutions to solve today's problems. Analyzes the data as part of an enrichment pipeline and makes it usable either via API or integrated dashboards. As an overview, over the next 40 minutes, what can you expect? The collaboration between EasiShare and Squirrel delivers reliable and secure, accurate information retrieval. This precision-engineered solution enables your organization to make better decisions by combining secure file management provided by EasiShare with AI-powered search. Now, without further ado, let me hand the spotlight over to Mr. Max Chan, Regional Sales Director of EasiShare, who will talk about how it helps organizations manage data securely today. Mr. Max, please.
Hey, thanks, Mark. Let me share my screen, and do let me know when you can see my screen.
All right.
All good? You see my screen?
All good.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Again, welcome, everyone. Good morning. Okay, let's start with EasiShare, right? So EasiShare is a solution. It's an enterprise file security solution, and the three most popular use cases that we offer to our customers are secure file transfer, right? Where it's an end-to-end encryption filled with audit permission feature, right? The second one is data room, team collaboration. It's a secure document repository exchange, collaboration, with online editing, co-editing, file locking, versioning, as well as you can, control what user access, what user can edit. And the last thing that we do is endpoint backup and sync. This helps, protect your important files from loss, and it's accessible from all devices. The most important thing is compliant with regulation. On the right side, you'll see that our motto is secure, manage, and govern all your data, all your files in your repository. We have deployed to many of our customers. As you can see, there is Mitsubishi, Raffles Medical, Wavelink, and etc. Today, our presence spans across a couple of countries, right? Singapore being our headquarters. We also have presence in India, UAE, as well as development centers in Siberia, as well as Indonesia, right? More importantly, we partner with a lot of tech partners, right, to build our ready integration ecosystem, right? Among the categories, there are threat prevention, data protection, analytics, data management, API automation, and with our Squirro, with our partner Squirro today, that's where the search and Gen AI category comes into play. So the platform itself allows you to take back control of your files, as well as you decide where your data resides. So how does business impact of precision generated AI, right? So in this diagram, in this slide, I think what we want to tell you is that by using EasiShare together with Squirrel, I think it benefits your organization, right? In this little slide that we provided, it actually helps enterprises perform better by using a combination of secure file repository platform, as well as integrating it to advanced precision generated AI search, as well as sort of like Chat GPT style of technology. Let me share with you a use case with our customers, Zulik Pharma. So how they use EasiShare today? They use EasiShare to facilitate collaboration, as well as view-only mode with their external auditors. Due to the COVID restrictions a couple of years back, where the external auditors can't visit or go on site to Zulik Pharma to cite the audited documents. This is where we provide the technology for Zulik Pharma to be able to send these files across, but limit the download capability of the external auditors, right? The external auditors are able to view the files, and Zulik Pharma is able to monitor all these activities, right? So in this case, the files are not downloaded to the auditors, and Zulik can control, right, who views it, whether the right person is viewing it through OTP verifications, right? As the auditors are viewing the files, they are able, Zulik Pharma is able to generate automatic watermarking across documents. So, for example, if the external recipients were to use their mobile phones to capture images or snapshots of the screen, there will be, evidence that this screenshot was protected by, the Zulik Pharma trademarks or watermarks, right? Together with all the permissioning, restriction of activities, obviously you get a whole lot of other activities from the EasiShare platform, like secure shared link, workflow approvals, where you do not just allow the senders in your organization to just send documents, but it has to be sent with a certain approval from the line managers or the managers of the particular sender, right? And more importantly is activities, right? Activity audit logs. And this will help track, trace, track, or monitor who is sending what or doing what on the platform, right? So for Zulik Pharma, the benefits they obtained was they were able to speed up, right, audit activities with the external auditors by 80%. They are able to complete the audit faster without losing control of the organization's sensitive data and total visibility of all the activities that's happening, right? From the point of sharing the document and at the point where the external auditors are accessing it and viewing it. So besides just the three use cases that I mentioned earlier, the file transfer, the collaboration, as well as endpoint backup. There are other use cases that are used by our customers. This is an example of 10 other use cases, right? But I will not go into all these 10 use cases. What I'll do is I will go into 4 of them to give you like a preview of what we do with the use cases. And if you are interested in the other use cases, do reach out to us so that we can share more with you. Right? Let's start with real-time document collaboration. Like I mentioned earlier, one of popular use cases, collaboration between internal and external, users in the organization. So this is where I think many of our customers harness the platform that we provide that is able to do online editing, co-editing, has teams work together on the same document, right? So, for example, HQ requires to update the Excel document by all different divisional units. All these different divisional units will be able to access the documents at the same time and update their respective roles, right? So with a functionality like this, you are able to achieve controlled collaboration environment with better governance and granular control, right, of all your users. Number 2, obviously, we look at how files are classified, right? So for files that are put into the EasiShare platform, how are they classified into their respective classification? For example, confidential, restricted, or non-restricted, for example, right? So how do we do this? Again, we do this through technology that allows scanning of the files through the regex and policy with a little bit of AI magic, right? To determine whether, for example, if this file contains a 16-digit character, is it a credit card, right? So the rest of the file contents are also scanned to determine whether this is a financial related document or it's just a random 16-digit, and the classification of this file will then be determined by the system, the platform, right? So with this kind of auto classification, no longer manual classification is required, right? And files that are classified can then be stored securely and comply to organization governance. Right? The third thing is obviously when we work with so many documents, some of these documents would be contracts or agreements that requires a signature, right? So this is where EasiShare, the platform, we integrate to some of the industry digital signing solutions in the market, right? And this allows us to provide a seamless end-to-end flow of documents, for example, agreements from the organization to the signer, which can be an external or internal party to the organization, and has this complete signing the documents. It will then be stored in a secure repository within EasiShare, the EasiShare platform for retrieval later. So this ensures that the contracts or agreements are authenticated and secure, right? With full document history versioning for the shared truth. And then lastly, with a platform, I think one of the main things is to ensure the data leak prevention, right? So with today's sharing of documents, even internally among people in the office, as well as those that are working remotely from the office, it's important to allow, I guess, the organization to monitor all file activities and also restrict certain activities or certain workflow from happening if it should not be happening, right? Guided by policies within an organization. So secure and prevent sensitive data from leaving an organization is one of our key pillars in that circle that you saw earlier in the first slide. Right? So this comes to our integration with Squirrel, right? AI semantic search. With so many documents in the repository on the EasiShare platform. So how do we allow users to easily search, documents, search for documents that they want, whether it's through a contextual search or driven a little bit with the AI power data insights, right? And most importantly, natural language processing. I think these are some of the things that Moritz will be able to, give you more insights later during his presentation, right? But what we wanted to do is that we wanted to show you as well how EasiShare integrates with Squirrel today in the AI semantic search fashion, right? It provides intelligent indexing. There's also a little bit of chat GPT style of interaction that's available for those that want to turn it on, right? More importantly, it will be organizational specific data, meaning that files that are uploaded onto EasiShare platform, you can only search for those files, right? And we have deployed it on-premise as well as on the cloud to many of our customers today. Let me play a video so that you understand better how the integration works. I might be pausing along the video to give you more commentary, but this is where when you click, let me just scroll back. So this is where, EasiShare interface is where you're able to see all your documents, like in a file explorer manner. You are able to click on the search button, right? When you click on the search button, that's where, again, the magic happens, right? Squirrel will be launched. And what we are showing you now is that we are searching for a keyword EasiShare, and the search results will return a whole long list of results, right? That it's related to EasiShare, right? We also show you example of how different tags is inputted in this case, tag buyers, right? It will result in a different list that comes out, and we'll click into one of the documents, and then you will be able to see, where tag buyer appears in the different pages of this document. Okay? So this is where where Squirrel makes everything easy and happens, and you can also do summarization of the document, right? Just by clicking, let me just pause it a little while. Just by clicking on a chat within the document, you can actually, earlier you saw it, we typed down, summarize this document, and it did a summary of the document, right? Just for this particular document. Besides doing this way, there's also a summary button that you can click on. Right? It will then, show you a summary, which you can then, read it quickly and understand what the document is. If you require, a more advanced style of querying documents across the repository, so this is where there is also a separate tab which provides the chat style of getting information from a whole lot of different documents. And what we have typed is what are the apps that's available on EasiShare, right? So it provides the answers very quickly, as well as the sources of the answer. So which file that this answers was retrieved from to create the answer, right? So this is some of the highlights of our integration, where together with Squirrel, we are able to quickly look for not only quickly look for documents, but also look for documents using a chat style of query, right? I'm sure Morris has got a lot more information to share with you next, right? So key takeaways from me, right? Enhance security. The platform, EasiShare as a platform, provides you with a platform that protects your data integrity as well as security, providing you with a platform, especially if you are in the regulated industry. So the audit logs, like I mentioned earlier, the workflow approvals and all that, right? Optimize productivity, so reduce search times. Definitely, together with Squirrel, I think we have proven to many of our customers that it reduces search time, increases accuracy as well, to deliver greater value to you as an organization user, right, and internal stakeholders. And then obviously actionable insights through the policies that's managed on the platform, through the audit logs that you'll be able to see all the activities. You'll be able to set the policy that is required without compromising efficiency in your productivity or in your organization productivity, right? Thank you for your time. That's what I have. What I'll do is I'll pass it back to Mark.
All right. Thanks, Max, for insightful sharing. So in a quick summary, EasyShare is where it's centralized. We don't want files to disappear like another big provider we had last June 2023, right? So we also want to prevent copying and pasting into public AI chatbots, and probably that's where Squirrel comes into play. And we'll now transit over to Mr. Moritz Müller. He will deliver great insights into what Squirrel can do on EasyShare and otherwise. So Mr. Moritz, please.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Max. Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here, first of all, and thank you, Max, for sharing all the insights on EasyShare. I really enjoy using EasyShare myself. I mean, when we put up the demo together, it was really intuitive how the interface is. And I think that we can also be proud on the Squirrel side to make it even more efficient with our search integration. And I'm here to tell you a bit more on what we do at Squirrel. Why did we integrate our solution and partner up with EasyShare? And why is that so relevant for your daily work? And why does it drive a top-line impact and has a big... the use cases have always a very, very clear return on investment. Now, who is Squirrel? We are a software company that focuses on precision engineered AI. We want to make sure that AI is reliable, accurate, and that you can trust it. And we leverage AI throughout the bench, from doing document tagging, doing search, and all the chat functionality that Max started to show you. There are a lot of new features coming that will all be seamlessly integrated in the product. So you will learn a bit about this now. But the key part for you is also that everything that we show here today is out of the box integrated in EasyShare, and you can use it if you add the respective module that gives you that power for AI search. Now, before I go a bit deeper into what Squirrel does, let me tell you again in short, what is Squirrel? So we are a software company. We focus very much on search. We have been around now for 13 years. We have always been doing enterprise search. And that is the core part of our technology that we use to deliver different kind of enterprise-grade solutions. Now, all our solutions, they provide you with better efficiency, better performance, and we also have a focus in the regulated industries. What Max mentioned clearly is also our shared ambition. Everything needs to be 100% secure. So when you choose to go with EasiShare, probably one of your ambitions is also that all your data is safe and secure. We follow that, of course, with Squirrel. We are ISO certified. We make sure that the integration of Squirrel is all within your IT environment, being on-premise or private cloud. And we are able to leverage different kind of large language models to make sure none of your data is shared with the outside world. Now, in terms speaking about regulated industries, just to give you an idea of what we have done there, we've started working also a few years ago with the European Central Bank that has won last year the Global Award for Artificial Intelligence with the solution that they build on top of Squirrel. So that shows you that there is an outstanding AI competence in the company. And here in Singapore, the two of our core customers are Standard Chartered Bank and OCBC. They have also decided to leverage the Squirrel Gen AI enterprise platform to build out specific use cases on their side. Now, why am I talking so much about this? It is because we really want to make sure that whenever you search for information, you get an accurate and reliable answer. A lot of companies have engaged in using AI technologies, but the big concern we always hear, or the lesson learned, is that this is not always accurate enough. We even have projects where companies started using out-of-the-box ChatGPT solutions, and they said, look, a pure ChatGPT is not giving us a good enough answer on all of our documents. And we at Squirrel, we clearly understand why this is. It is because ChatGPT alone does not give you the capability to first find the right piece of information in all of your data. And that's where Squirrel comes into play. With our enterprise Gen AI platform, we provide you with semantic search, so the information retrieval throughout all of your data sources. And then once we find the relevant bits and pieces that answer your question, and that can be placed, the data can be placed in an EasiShare, it can also be in another system, we then pass it on to a large language model to formulate you an answer. And another potential testimony of this is that Gartner's mentioned us recently in as the only European company that is actually noteworthy to provide conversational Gen AI solutions out of 20 globally. So that is something we are very, very proud of. And let me tell you a bit more on why is that? What is the value that we generate and how does Squirrel work? Now, if you look at what I show you here on the screen, this summarizes on a high level what we deliver at Squirrel. We can break it down in 3 steps. On the left-hand side, we connect to different data. We gather the data. That data can be unstructured data, can be data that sits in Office documents like a Word, a PowerPoint, a PDF, in a spreadsheet. Anything that you can put also in an EasiShare file sharing solution. It can be in emails. It can also be in other databases that we can reach via API. Now we connect to the data sources. We put it in our Gen AI platform. In our Gen AI platform, we understand that data by doing tagging, by creating a vector database. I will speak about that more in one of the following slides. And by bringing everything in place that makes sure once you want to interact with that data, and that's what you see on the right side, you want to act on this data, you get the right information at the right time. And you can use this to discover information, to search and make sure you find the most relevant piece of information, to use summarization, to compare, to potentially even predict what's going to happen. Now, all of this is relevant whenever you look at your enterprise setup. You have in your organization a lot of documents. These documents often contain the knowledge in your organization that some people have spent a lot of time generating. But it's very often hidden in different files. And with our solution, in providing you a powerful search, we are able to get it out of the right place and give you an answer in real time. Now, this is overall how Squirrel operates. In terms of some of the use cases that we cater for, I want to focus today, of course, on knowledge management. That is the search piece that we deliver on top of enterprise search. But I want to also mention the 3 other ones that we are strong in. I will not give that a focus today, but we will speak about those. Now, knowledge management is really key for having the right information at the right time in your organization. We fit in there perfectly in your so-called knowledge fabric in your enterprise. And all the projects that we do there in searching through information, be it on top of EasiShare, being on top of another data source that you have in-house, there is a clear return on investment on making sure your employees find the information faster. And the accuracy is mission critical there. Now, besides that knowledge management space, Squirro also works in Service Insight. We use the same platform to automatically classify, process, and handle your service tickets. Imagine you're in customer service, you get an email incoming, you want to find a solution for that email. With our machine learning platform, we automatically understand that incoming ticket, propose you a resolution resource from the knowledge base that is connected in the background, and can even use GenAI to automatically formulate an answer to your client. So that's how we handle service management. Now, in risk management, we are being used, as I shared before, by the European Central Bank, for instance, and by other central banks. Bank of England, the German Central Bank uses us, and other clients use us for risk and compliance use cases. Why do they use Squirro? They use Squirro because they have a lot of internal, a lot of data as well that they need to process. And we use then our technology stack and like NLP to automatically highlight certain risk statements, to summarize risks, to find risk statements and any kind of things that you need to look for as an auditor much faster. And in asset and wealth management, or generally in banking, it is also key finding the right information. So Squirro, again, can sit on top of, for instance, an internal repository of so-called house view documents, where you have your internal research on financial markets. And Squirro will be able to retrieve the right information and tell you, this is an answer to your question, and it comes from your internal document. So this is one use case on how we cater for it. But let's go back to knowledge management. Why did I mention that the accuracy is mission critical? Well, the reason for that is very simple. If you look in an organization in terms of knowledge management, we're always being told, oh, is your solution able to connect to all of the different data sources we have? Again, that can be an EasiShare. It can also be that you have an EasiShare, you have a Confluence, you have a SharePoint, you have other repositories. Squirro is able to connect to all of those. And then we provide you not only a search through one system, but through all of this. So you don't need to spend a lot of time consolidating all of your knowledge or knowledge management databases in a single place. You can do that, but we are also able to give you a head start by saying we connect to everything and give you one search across it all. What are you looking for through all of your data sources? That is what we do. Now, the key there is to have a unique access point. Typically, when I speak to clients, they tell me, oh, my users have 20 different tabs open because they never know what to search for information. We want to get rid of this. We want to make sure there is one search bar or one chat window where you ask a question and you get an answer from all of the underlying information. And the information retrieval and the discovery of the right information in your organization is mission critical when we want to do this. And always keep in mind, Squirro, of course, also is fully enterprise-grade secure. That means we are honoring any kind of IT requirements you have in an organization. And we are also making sure that your users are only accessing or allowed to access and get answers from information that they have access to. Let's say, for instance, in EasiShare, you have a folder that is not shared with you. You ask the question. Of course, Squirro makes sure that you as an employee are then not getting any sensitive information from that document, since it is not shared with you as an employee. So these things, they are all fully integrated, they happen seamlessly, and they work 100% reliable. Now, if you look at knowledge management, we are often being asked, oh, that is a nice to have, but is it really a must have? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely yes. Nowadays, or we heard recently, for instance, Singapore government stated that last year in all of the government agencies, the #1 problem was finding the right information. And when you say finding the right information, that was coming from a survey of all the employees for government agencies. And the #1 complaint, finding the right information. And what addresses this? Knowledge management. And that's exactly the use case that we talk about here. We provide that solution that connects to all of this data. We can observe in the projects that we do that there is on average at least a 30% increase in employee performance. We can on average reduce the time to find information by at least 90%. And you can, I mean, if you look at knowledge workers, a lot of people nowadays have a university background, or they don't need to have a university background, but they are knowledge workers. They are making decisions. That's why we don't want to call AI artificial intelligence, but we rather often sometimes call it augmented intelligence. We help your smart employees. They're smart already. They're smart people, but they're not machines. So let's give them a tool, an AI tool, a machine learning tool that is able to quickly retrieve the information that they need to make a human common sense decision on all of the internal information. And that's what we do. Mission critical accuracy by retrieving the right information to let you do your job and focus on what is at hand. Now, when you look at some of the Squirrel interfaces on how the search works, how do we chat with data, the underlying technologies behind this, they're all powered and driven by some machine learning or AI components. Now, with Squirrel, you can use some of the out-of-the-box machine learning capabilities that help you understand your documents. You can use Gen AI components that summarizes you parts of your document, let you ask questions on the document. Tell me the 3 most relevant aspects about this topic, for instance, about ESG from an annual report. We do that. And of course, you can also use knowledge graphs that typically requires a bit of setup. But if you have an internal taxonomy, we allow you to put that on top of your unstructured data and make sure that you retrieve information even faster and more accurately by using your internal taxonomies and ontologies that you have in place. And by doing that, as I mentioned before, we observe productivity increases of 40%. It is so much faster to prepare for client presentations, for instance. We heard it from a client. They literally told us we have 20 times faster client meeting preparation times, because we simply enter in the search client name, or we say, summarize me the last 3 talking points to my client. If your CRM system is connected, Squirrel allows you to get you the 3 top talking points from your last interaction with the client seamlessly. And that is needed to make sure that you make the right decisions when interacting with your clients. So now, what's the future for that in terms of search? Of course, Squirrel can do all of the kind of different searches, and I will speak about it in the next slide more precisely on which are the aspects of search. But for you as a user, for your users, your employees, it is key that they understand. In the past, we had a search bar. We still have that search bar, but now we can actually type a question in that search bar, and we can leverage that as a chat to find us the relevant information and make sure we have it right at our fingertips. And the key part there is also, you heard about LLMs. Is this secure? Yes, this is secure. We can handle it with an on-premise LLM model. That is, of course, something that needs to be discussed with IT, but we will make sure that this is compliant with your IT team and fits inside of your security requirements. And always when you use Squirrel, you ask the question on the data that sits in EasiShare. We will always make sure to tell you your answer is coming from this document that is based in this EasiShare folder, for instance. So we always ground the data on your company files. We tell you the information is coming from there. Please go back to the file and read up about it. That way you're also able to, for instance, update outdated information. We have seen this. It's the first thing that happened in knowledge management projects that we've done with clients. Someone asked a question. Oh, this comes from the wrong document. It's outdated. They gave that feedback in the chat. Someone looked at that file. File was removed, updated with a newer version of it, and automatically our chat gives you the answer from the updated document. That is also the reason why we don't train LLMs anymore. We make sure that the knowledge base, your files, are up to date so that you always get the answer from the right document. Now, sorry for that. Let's move on and let's look a bit more on how we make search simple at Squirrel. Now, traditional approaches of building search, enterprise search or workplace search projects, and nowadays we call this whole space just knowledge management, required building, integrating different data sources, using open source tools, different tools by cloud providers. This takes time. You can hire a bunch of consultants to build this out for you. You also need to make sure you can handle the different file formats. You can pass PDF files, Office files. You know how difficult it is to handle a vector database? If you want to build all of this, be our guest. We've spent 12 years now building this out. With Squirrel, you get all of this out of the box. We provide you with a vector database that indexes automatically all of your files. You can choose the large language model of your choice. So if you do not have access to an in-house LLM that you provide, for instance, you run it on your own infrastructure, a Llama model or a Mixtral model, you can connect to the Azure OpenAI, which is, from our perspective, 100% safe. It runs over the same servers as your MS Teams communication channel, for instance. We at Squirrel allow you to connect to any LLM. It is really your choice. And that's the key part. If there's a better one in the future, you just switch it out. Now, our solution is also tested and regulated with strictly, very strict organization like the ECB. At the European Central Bank, Squirrel is the solution that helps them to bring large language models to their users. So the European Central Bank was probably the first client in a strongly regulated industry that was able to leverage large language models, GenAI capabilities, inside of a Squirrel platform. They could just chat with all of their data. They could ask a certain document, summarize me that document, ask questions on this. We made it possible. We brought in the link to a large language model, which could be in AWS Bedrock, can be in Azure OpenAI. We made that work at European Central Bank. Now, the Squirrel search that Max showed shortly before has a lot of AI-powered search functionality under the box. We call it actually the latest version is so-called hybrid search, because we are able to combine keyword search. If you just enter a keyword, you typically want to just do a keyword search. The moment you enter a longer search phrase, we automatically switch to semantic search and make sure we retrieve the right information. You even have functionalities in there to be alerted about new content. So let's say you want to subscribe to everything about a specific client. The moment someone adds a new file in your data, in your system of record, for instance, if someone uploads a new document about your client in EasiShare, you can say you want to get a notification about it. So, and that is exactly what we provide. And all of this is 100% accurate, or not 100%, but we aim at the highest accuracy. It's unstructured data. I shouldn't say 100% accurate, but it is the highest accuracy that we have seen in the industry. We hear that clearly from our clients. And the combination of tools that we use for this in terms of machine learning, metadata tagging, NLP solutions that understand your data, all of them combined, ship as part of the Squirrel solution, and are available out of the box. Squirrel automatically knows when you search for something in terms of type ahead, what you want to search for. There's search suggestions. We have previous searches. We have trending searches. All of that is available as a configuration features and available inside of the EasiShare solution that Max showed you before. Now, this is search. Search is very powerful. Search is really driving ROI in your organization. You will see once you give a powerful search solution like Squirrel to your employees, they will be much more effective and efficient in doing their work. Now, the way we achieve this is we leverage our enterprise GenAI platform. And I want to say a few sentences before I come to the end about what is our enterprise GenAI platform. I already mentioned before, we can connect different data sources. And EasiShare and other systems like a Confluence, Atlassian, for instance, all of this you can combine in a single search. And then Squirrel gives you all of the components to enrich your data, to relate your data, to classify it, and so on and so forth. And that is all part of our platform. And we use this to not only provide you with what we call retrieval augmented generation, so combining information retrieval, in our case, for instance, a combination of semantic search and other information retrieval technologies with large language models. But we can also build out on top of that platform a so-called agent framework. What does it mean? It means that in the future, if you want to expand your search, for instance, you ask a question, what is Squirrel? It will generate a question that goes and first looks, where do I find that information that is relevant to answer that question? Is it in my documents on EasiShare? Is it in my SQL database? Maybe do I need to get out to Wikipedia and find information there? You can connect all of those data sources in our agent framework. We have then a decision tree on where to best look this up. And at the end of the day, the key part is that you get the right answer. And that is exactly what we focus on giving you an accurate answer. And that is why Squirro is the right choice if you want to make sure you get access to the right information inside of your organization. And with our integration in EasiShare, we laid the first foundation. You can take the first step with exactly that to enable that power of AI search inside of your organization and take also the first step in being Gen AI enabled. So please approach us to learn more about this. And now we are very much looking forward to questions. But before I do that, I hand it back to Mark. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Moritz. Thank you. And apologies, Dr. Moritz,
No,
for my
all good.
pride. Yeah, so thank you so much, gentlemen, for the insightful presentations by both EasyShare and Squirrel. It's kind of hard to differentiate between two. It's so seamless. So I guess we'll take some time now for just some quick questions. I can see there's three. All right, so I'll just compress the questions. I'm wary of time. So I think this is directed to EasyShare, but I'll leave to you guys, gentlemen, to take up the questions as you deem fit. So this question asks if there's any approval process, say for managed folders or files, and if the policies are customizable, do admin or administrators of organizations have any oversight on files that are in probably Squirrel or EasyShare? So I'll leave it to you guys.
Oh, okay, I'll take it. So definitely, I think policies and set up in EasyShare as well as activities like I mentioned earlier in my presentation. They are all audited. You'll be able to see all the auditings right in EasyShare. What has changed? What has been modified? Yes, you can actually set the workflow on files as well as on folders to monitor.
Hey, Moritz, do you have anything to add? Seems like.
Yes, so the key part is, as Max mentioned, you can manage access to that in EasyShare. If you look at the pure EasyShare integration, Squirrel will always honor any kind of permissions that come from EasyShare. That's why this is a seamless integration. So that's why all of this happens inside of EasyShare, and only if you want to go beyond this, so you want to, for instance, add another data source, then you can also switch over to a Squirrel management dashboard where you have an overview of that. But for the EasyShare part, all of this is managed within the entitlement handling system of EasyShare.
Okay, awesome. Just staying on this topic, about the deployment, right? So Squirrel, can it be deployed within the customer's self-managed environment or exclusively on cloud? Yeah.
That is a very good question. So Squirrel generally can be deployed on-premise, absolutely. So typically what our existing clients that we have together, EasyShare is deployed on cloud, EasyShare is deployed on premise, and Squirrel is also deployed on premise. So we sit in the same IT environment inside of your organization. And with that, you get the powerful AI search capabilities, semantic search, all of that in your on-premise environment. The key thing that we need to understand is the moment that we bring in any LLM components. So you add the chat part to it. You don't just want to do semantic search, finding everything, but you also want to chat with your data. In that case, we need a large language model that's available. And this large language model is something that we do not provide out of the box. Why is that? Because it is very expensive to run this. Squirrel generally supports any large language models. That means if your organization has a large language model that you run on premise in a cluster where you have some GPUs, we can easily connect to that. We do that for some corporate clients, like I mentioned before, for European Central Bank. I think they have something in their private cloud, so in their on-premise environment, and we connect to their large language model. And then all of this can be done on premise. Just be aware, and we want to be fully transparent on this, there is a certain cost on running such a large language model. And that's why we encourage everyone that wants to use that capability, that they should definitely also consider using the so-called Azure OpenAI API, which is the ChatGPT version that is provided on Azure in your private cloud. And that follows the same kind of data security standards that any communication and data you have already in your MS Teams, for instance, it goes over the same servers. So, and why do we suggest that? We don't suggest that because we don't say you should use that as a private cloud service. It's just a lot cheaper than using an on-premise LLM. And that is the caveat that we see here. We understand this is a big topic. That's why we say we need to talk to your IT to see which LLM can be used. The performance increase by having a chat is massive. So the ROI by setting something like this up is very, very clear. And if you can do it in your IT environment, then the whole system runs fully on-premise.
Thanks, Moritz. To the person that asked the question, I hope it does address your concerns. Resources is one thing, but I think the team here is able to help you on that. So moving on to that is whether, I believe he's referring to Squirrel, generating detailed reports. Is that even possible in the now or in the near future? Oh, I think it got answered. Oh, wow.
What was the question?
Question is possibility of having Squirrel generate reports.
Okay.
A few pages.
Yes, Squirrel can also generate reports. So we have automatic capabilities to generate reports. Let's say you want to have we do this for clients that say, I want to have an automatically generated risk report for my client every month. Then we set up a certain logic that goes in every month, looks at the last risk documents. So we automatically search for the last documents talking about risks for that client. And we send that information, or we integrate that information in the workflow saying, please summarize us now so you have a number of predefined questions in terms of risk aspects. Generate me the top risk for counterparty risk, the top risk for supplier risk, the top risk for financial risk, and then our solution or searches for these kind of paragraphs inside of the news, if it's connected, or risk reports or PDFs, and we automatically generate your report that you can then look at and read through the condensed information. And of course, in all of this, we always point back to the source. So if you're not sure if the summary is accurate or is maybe missing out something, we tell you it comes from this paragraph, and you can read the full paragraph of where it comes from.
That sounds awesome. I believe there are people in the audience looking for a demo already by now. So moving on, last question. What do we have? We have, I think it's for both platforms, even though it sounds like one. Is there a single dashboard or settings have to be managed separately? From what I understand from our conversation, it seems that it has to be separately, right?
No, but I think Morris mentioned earlier, right, when he started that deploying Squirrel into EasyShare, or when we deployed both EasyShare and Squirrel, I think it's a seamless deployment, right? All the scripts for Squirrel to be integrated in EasyShare, it's already ready and available, right? I think the setting up of the environment and all that is just a one-time thing where that the Squirrel scripts will definitely do it, right? And in terms of fine-tuning it, I think before we go live and all that's where the fine-tuning state time is, right? To fine-tune that deployment of both EasyShare and Squirrel.
Right.
Yeah, maybe just add one sentence to this. I think we need to distinguish, as Max said, the out-of-the-box integration doesn't need you to interact with any kind of management interface in Squirrel. That's all set up and automatically deployed if you just look at the EasyShare search integration. So you don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry about how to set up databases for search, how to fine-tune this. That is not necessary. We make sure that out of the box that works seamlessly and covers typically 99% of your standard search requirements. If you want to refine it, we have certain guides on what can you configure. That is then a Squirrel dashboard that we can expose to an admin user. But out of the box with EasyShare, nothing to worry about. The moment you go beyond that, maybe just one sentence for me, Mark, the moment you go beyond that, of course, you want to connect not only EasyShare, but maybe also another source like a Confluence page. That moment, you, of course, then need to look at some Squirrel dashboards for the settings. You can boost, for instance, a specific source. You can say if you find information in EasyShare, that should always be boosted. And that needs to be done in the Squirro dashboard, but these Squirro dashboards can again be integrated, like you saw before, in the EasiShare solution. It's just that the data then not only comes from your EasiShare, but it might also come from a Confluence page, for instance, that you have set up in-house.
All right. So I think for the person that for the attendee that asked the question, it's really very seamless, out of the box, like what Moritz and Max has already mentioned. However, for further customization, it won't be much of a trouble anyway. So yeah, so do reach out to the team. So I think thanks, gentlemen. That's all the questions that we have. And I think to just wrap up, right? We have 4 minutes left. To just wrap up, so what do we do today, or what do we discover today? We address the data management challenge. So EasiShare and Squirro's integration, it gives you the unified and secure platform for all your data or files, right? And the generative AI powered search with Squirro, that is powered by ML, NLP. It can deliver relevant results from multiple document repositories. So there's a seamless integration for enhanced productivity. So 3 points to remember. How this seamless integration will boost your productivity, reduce the search times, right? You don't want to click on search on something and it takes ages to come to you. And ensure the robust governance with granular access controls, policy controls, like what Max has mentioned, and enhancing operational efficiency. So I guess with 3 minutes to spare, I would like to thank everyone for attending this webinar with us today. Thank the speakers, Mr. Max Chan, Dr. Moritz Müller. At this stage, on behalf of the wonderful team at EasyShare and Squirro as well, Anupriya and Rostina, I would like to thank you all for attending. Remember, you can always access this morning's webinar recording on Squirro's landing page and InspireTech's YouTube channel. Thank you, everyone.